Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen from photosNtravel, and this is travel news you need to know. Are you missing the sun and sand? On October 1st, the small Central American country of Belize will reopen its international airport as a third step in a 5-phase reopening strategy for tourism. Government-approved hotels will also be allowed to reopen, and approved tour operators may offer excursion activities. Enhanced health and safety protocols for hotels, restaurants, and tour operators under Belize's Tourism Gold Standard program will also be featured. Belize has just over 800 active cases of coronavirus at press time. Ongoing up-to-date information can be found at belizetourismboard.org. Hawaii is doing its best to keep the tourist trade alive, yet fight the pandemic. They've instituted yet another restrictive measure for tourists. According to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser, as of Tuesday, September 1st, Hawaii will require all visitors to fill out a Safe Travels application. According to the newspaper, visitors complete the Safe Travels questionnaire online and receive a QR code. An airport screener uses an iPad to read the code and is able to review passenger information for clearance or for secondary screening. So what if you don't have a smartphone or a computer? You can always ask a friend for help. And if you don't have an email address, you'll have to create one. Once your information is in the system, it can be used by officials, including police, to check on visitors who are required to quarantine for 14 days. Apparently, it will not include a GPS device to track travelers. The Safe Travels application is to automatically generate quarantine check-in reminders as emails and text messages, making it easier for the Department of Health to reach out if there are medical issues. Did I mention filling out the application will be mandatory? Let's stay with Hawaii for a minute. The question of what is more important, your privacy or your life, has come up in many conversations around the world. Despite opposition, the state of Hawaii is pushing forward with its plan to install facial recognition technology at 5 of its airports. According to Travel Weekly, the governor has told state legislatures he expects facial imaging to be in place by the end of the year, as part of the state's plan to detect possible coronavirus cases among arriving passengers. The facial recognition software will be used in conjunction with temperature screening cameras, which were installed at the airports in August. They'll help to monitor and track arriving passengers to Hawaii. Anyone who registers a temperature above 38 degrees, which is 100.4 degrees on the old scale, is asked to submit to a voluntary secondary screening conducted by paramedics. The technology is designed to monitor body temperature, even if the subjects are wearing masks or hats. Hawaii also has a mandatory 14-day quarantine for anyone visiting the island, which is in effect until October 1st. Upscale cruise lines Windstar Cruises has canceled all of its remaining cruises in 2020. Spokesman for the company said it was an extremely difficult decision. They had anticipated recovery from the pandemic would be much faster, but passenger and crew safety is second to none. If you have tickets for an upcoming cruise, you'll receive a 125% credit, or you can take a refund equal to 100% of what you paid. If you take the voucher, you'll have 24 months from the issuance date to book and embark on an available Windstar cruise. The company is taking this temporary pause in operations to review and update their health and safety practices, including enhanced sanitation protocols, health screenings, adding more medical staff on board, flexible dining, and crew training. They're calling it Beyond Ordinary Care. For more information, visit windstarcruises.com. The first ever commercial passenger flight between Israel and the United Arab Emirates took place on August 31st. According to the Associated Press, the El Al flight flew into Saudi Arabian airspace en route to the Emirates, which is another historic first, as no Israeli commercial plane had ever been permitted to do so in the past. Monday's flight was the first flight for El Al since July 1st, when the Israeli carrier shut down its operations due to the ongoing coronavirus outbreak. The plane's captain said he had never dreamed of flying to Abu Dhabi, and it was a very special feeling. I can only imagine. Are you ready to hike to Mount Everest? Planetara Foundation founder Bruce Poon Tip is inviting members of the travel industry to join him on a virtual trek up to the highest peak for a very worthy cause. The Planetara Foundation is the nonprofit partner of G Adventures and G Touring, which some of you may recall was formerly known as Gap Adventures. The organization has launched its first annual Planetara Trek Challenge. Travel industry members can join the virtual trek to Everest Base Camp and help rebuild community tourism around the world following the devastating impact of COVID-19. This year, the focus is on Planetara's partner in South Asia, including Nepal. The challenge is for participants to walk the 65 kilometers or 85,000 steps, which are the number of steps it takes to hike to Everest Base Camp. The challenge is taking place on September 21st to 27th of this year. Following this schedule, participants will reach the top on World Tourism Day, September 27th, 2020. Many of us visit Google to find out about destinations around the world. The ever-adapting search engine company announced plans to add new content to its travel search results. Officials revealed Google would soon display the percentage of open hotels with availability, as well as the percentage of flights operating at the city or country level. The data necessary to facilitate the searches will be supplied by Google Flights and Hotels data from the previous week. Travelers will also be able to find advisories and the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in an area through links on the website. Google also announced it would soon offer travelers the ability to filter their hotel and vacation rental search results to only see properties that offer free cancellations, a significant concern during the ongoing viral pandemic. Planning on flying, but have a few concerns about the air in cabins? According to Boeing and Airbus, most modern large commercial airliners completely replace the cabin air with fresh air every 2 to 3 minutes, or 20 to 30 times per hour. While that's happening, 50% of the cabin air is recirculated through a HEPA filter, which stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air Filter, similar to those used in hospital operating rooms. This will filter out 99.97% of all viruses. The other half is flushed out through valves. Now you can breathe easy, but make sure you wear a mask, as you never know who's sitting next to you. Once again, border disputes are flaring up between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Clashes between the two nations began in early summer along a disputed border region known as the Nagorno-Karabakh. Both sides have accused the other of shelling towns near the border, with at least one Azeri civilian, 11 Azeri troops, and at least 2 Armenian troops having been killed. The two countries engaged in a war over the disputed territory in the 1990s, when they both achieved independence after the fall of the Soviet Union. The territory is recognized as part of Azerbaijan by the United Nations, but is autonomously controlled by ethnic Armenians. For those of you who have been to Turkey, a must-see stop is, of course, Hagia Sophia in Istanbul. This beautiful mosque was opened in 1934 as a museum by the ruler at the time, Ataturk. In July of this year, it was once again declared to be an active mosque. Prayers were again held after an 86-year absence. The Turkish president did confirm that despite the change, the mosque will remain open to visitors of all religions. That's it for now. I'll be back next month with another travel news update. Please email me your questions and comments. I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen for photosNtravel, where we bring the world to your doorstep. And always remember, travel safe.